I'm really not, Skip. I think the biggest thing was during this pandemic was being able to get physically there so their doctors can prod and poke and see how healthy are these shoulders. Let me take a look at that foot. And I think that's the biggest thing, Skip, dealing with someone like Cam Newton, is because you know the talent. He was a former MVP. He was Rookie of the Year. He's been to the Pro Bowl. He's been All-Pro. You know the talent is there. But how healthy is Cam? And I think over the last several years, Cam has been injured. As you mentioned before, he's died on the cross for the cause of the Carolina Panthers. And it hurt him because when you go out there, Skip, people don't care what it took for you to get out there. All they see is one. They see Newton on the back, and they expect those Supermanish type plays. Well, he hasn't been able to give them to them for a while for the simple fact I believe he's injured. I believe this works out really well for both sides. Skip, it's hard for me to see a scenario that once Cam get caught up to speed, that he does not beat Jared Stidham out for this job. I believe he's the better talent, the better arm talent, the better physical talent, and it's just a matter of getting caught up to speed. And people don't realize that once you know the system, because you got to realize, Skip, there was no minicamp. There were no OTAs for Cam to get an opportunity to hear the verbiage and to run those plays over and over. So basically, there's still 2.5 months, I think, 2.5 months before the season starts. And so that gives him an opportunity to get caught up once camp starts. But he is motivated. Skip, it hurts. Trust me. I've been a guy that's been released or the Broncos didn't want to sign me, and I wanted to show them I still have something left. Talk to Peyton Manning about being released by the Colts and see the motivation that he wanted to show that he still had something left. And if you remember, Skip, when they released Cam, he put out, I think it was on IG. They gave up on me. So he's going to be highly motivated. And if he's healthy, Skip, I don't see a scenario in which he's not the starting quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to start week 1, but once he's up to speed, I believe that talent and his ability to and learn this offense is that once these two things mesh, Cam will be the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots.
Although I'm not sure we will ever quite see 2015 Cam again because he died for their cause.
Correct.
The stat is that since 2011, his first year in the league, no quarterback has taken more hits, and that's like an obvious stat, but he's just run away with most hits taken over the last, what's it been, 9 years?
9 years, yeah.
Of any quarterback in the National Football League, because obviously there were days when he was taking on linebackers and strong safeties, and he wound up with a bum shoulder, surgery for that, and then the surgery on the foot. And I'm not sure how right he is right now. And I'm not sure they've been able to give him a complete, we will pass you kind of physical. So we got to wait to hear exactly about that. But I'm going to assume that Bill Belichick would know pretty much that he would be a 99% pass on a physical, to your point. Okay, so what do I think of this overall move? I thought it was finally a very good move by Bill Belichick. But I still don't think they will be a very good team. I don't know how much you have changed in your total view of the Patriots, but we have a bet dangling by a thread right now.
I feel better
we
about
have
that.
5 cases bet that Tom Brady's record next year will be better than Bill Belichick's record. Bill just helped his cause a whole lot. In fact, I'm going to give you 5 games. I'm going to say he improved by 5 games. But I thought they were looking at 4 and 12 with Stiddy as the quarterback, or as Belichick calls him, Stid. What? You're going to throw that poor kid who struggled in his final year at Auburn, did not obviously start last year because Tom Brady, the GOAT, was still there. You're going to throw him into Tom Brady's winged cleats up in Foxborough in the first game he's ever started in the National Football League and say, go for it, kid. I mean, has there ever been worse pressure, especially on an unproven kid, than would be on Jared Stidham? So I will give you this, that Cam is the perfect possible replacement for Tom Brady because, listen, Cam Newton will not be afraid of that challenge. There are only a handful of quarterbacks who could step into those shoes in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and be okay with the pressure of it. And I'm talking about Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and maybe Patrick Mahomes now. And maybe Russell Wilson, maybe.
Yeah, because the thing is, Skip, when you step in those shoes, you need to be accomplished something in your own right.
You have
and all the guys you mentioned have accomplished something in their own right. Super Bowls, MVPs, Offensive Players of the Years.
And Cam had one hellacious great year. He had an MVP, and he took a 15-1 team to the Super Bowl. He did not play well in the Super Bowl, but neither did Peyton Manning. He outplayed Peyton in that game. It was a defensive game from start to finish. And the Broncos' defense was hellacious great. And it was all over Cam. I didn't mind how he handled himself after the game, because show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. But the point is, he did not distinguish himself that day. And ever since, he's not been that 2015 guy. In fact, if you look at his numbers over the last 4 years, his grand total passing percentage, completion percentage is 60%. That ranks 44th among qualified quarterbacks. He's averaged 229 yards passing over the last 4 years, injury-plagued years. That ranks 34th of qualified quarterbacks. So, and again, his QBR 0 to 100 is the scale. He had an average of 44. So he's been below average, certainly by the MVP standard that he set over the last 4 years. But now we get to, how much better can he make the Patriots? Well, I was looking at 4-12. So could he make them 9-7? I believe he could. Do I think Tom Brady's still going to go 12-4? I definitely think that they're going to go 12-4. What has Tom Brady been doing for the last 4 months? He has been violating sort of unwritten rules, right? He's been out there practicing in the hot Tampa sun against the advice of NFL doctors and executives, right? And DeMaurice Smith took him on the other day, where you can't do that to us because we're still trying to negotiate whether, are you going to get workman's comp if you guys test positive? How's it going to go? And Tom's like, no, I'm going out there to practice, and we're going to do it as safely as possible. They're not running into each other. They're not trading collision sweat. They're just throwing and catching.
And why is he doing that, Skip? Why is he putting himself and teammates at risk? Because he wants to show, okay, New England, you ain't want to do this.
Correct.
I'm going to show you that I still have something left.
Okay. So I saw a Pro Football Focus story yesterday that had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster ranked 5th in the NFL. Wow, they went 7-9 last year. I wonder how they vaulted all the way up to 5th. Maybe could it be because they added the GOAT and the GOAT tight end?
Well, first of all, Skip Bayless, they had a talented roster last year. They didn't meet those obligations. Obviously, Jameis turned the ball over too much. But their defense had spells where they weren't great either.
It was not, but then they came alive at the end. So, okay, I'll give you 5th for them. Belichick's defense was ranked, this is pre-Cam, I mean, not defense, their whole roster was ranked 18th. So will Cam lift them up into the top 10? I don't know, maybe. I'm not seeing it, because I think Cam is going to find out that what Brady failed with last year often was a receiving core that Pro Football Focus ranked dead last in separation. Mohamed Sanu, according to the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp, was basically a bust. Can he, after surgery, bounce back and have a Sanu-type year, which is why they gave a 2nd for him? Can N'Keal Harry measure up to the first-round pick that was used on him by Bill Belichick, first-round receiver that he's picked since he has been in New England over the last 20 years? He didn't show me a lot down the stretch.
Well, Skip, when you look at it, you look at this roster. They built this offensive roster for Tom Brady. This offensive roster is really not conducive to push the ball down the field. Now, if you look at the roster, you look at all these guys, they're like shoreline. You know, Julian Edelman is a shallow runner. So they're not a team that really pushes the ball down the field. So they're going to have to revamp how they do certain things. Also, Skip, Carolina did a lot of damage for Cam. Skip, you're running quarterback powers. What do you think? And that's a big target. That's not a small man. That's a 6'5", 255-pound man that you're running a power like he's Eric Dickerson. So what do you think they're going to do? Okay, if you don't have any more respect than to run your quarterback on quarterback powers and draws, guess what? I'm going to treat him like a running back, and I'm going to tee up on him. Skip, you remember one of our first shows, because the year before the Broncos had won the Super Bowl, and they played opening night, they played Cam. You remember the hits Cam took? Some of them we thought was illegal. They punished him because they put him in harm's way by running him. And so the Broncos said, if that's what you care about him, we care even less.
True.
So, Skip, they're going to have to change some things in their offense, how they do business, because Cam is not really a three-step throw the ball, three-step throw the ball. That's not what he does. He's a five-step guy, push the ball down the field. He's had Greg Olsen basically his whole career. What tight end do they have?
None. They drafted 2 in the 3rd round. And other than that, they still got Ryan Izzo.
No.
No. Who else? I don't know. I can't even remember all the rest of them. They're tight ends as a group. Yeah, Matt Lacoste. They're tight ends as a group led by Benjamin Watson, who was playing at age 39, now retired. They were dead last in production last year of tight end groups, okay? So is it that much better? I think not. There's no Greg Olsen. There's really no Christian McCaffrey. I think James White is really good at what he does.
So that would help because he threw to the back. You know, C-Mac was there. He threw to the back a lot, so that would serve him well. But, Skip, at some point in time, you have to push the ball down the field. And I think that's a lot of times that's what stymied the Patriots last year, Skip, because that's fine and good moving between the 20s. But when the field gets condensed, once you get into the red zone, okay, you're running all these little shallow routes, then what?
Okay. And Belichick added from the Arizona Cardinals, Damiere Byrd, who was about the 4th receiver last year for Kyler Murray. And he added from Jacksonville, Marquise Lee, who missed all of 2018 and then tried to come back in 2019 and lasted 6 games before he went back on IR. Can he ever be Marquise Lee that we used to know and love? I don't know. I kind of doubt it. From the front 7, Bill Belichick lost Kyle Van Noy and Jamie Collins and Danny Shelton and Landon Roberts. 4 pretty key cogs, okay? So, and you traded Deron Harmon out of the back 4, but you still got Stephon Gilmore and you still got the twins, you know, so you got those guys. And what? Are they a dominating football team? I don't see it.
When you look at the Patriots, Skip, when you look at them from a front, with the exception, let's say, of the last decade, the exception of Chandler Jones, Skip, they've really never had a guy that says, okay, go win one-on-one. They're a scheme. They try to, all of a sudden, you'll see 5, 7 linebackers on the field, or you'll see 8 DBs. Coach Belichick's like this schematically. He's really never had that guy since he's been in New England, with the exception of early on. Now, he did have Willie McGinnis, who could rush the passer. He did have Seymour. But let's say in the last decade, it's basically been Chandler Jones that was the only guy that could go get the quarterback consistently without you having to scheme ways for him to get there. And for whatever reason, Chandler Jones fell out of favor. He had that one slip-up, Skip, where he did something, you know, and Coach Belichick says, nah, I'm not going to pay you this. I'm going to move on. And Chandler Jones has had the most sacks over the last, 5 years of anybody, 4 or 5 years of anybody in the NFL. And he's never been able to replace that. But what he's done, Skip, is that he's gotten better on the back end. With Stephon Gilmore, he likes to play a lot of man coverage, whereas before, he was a cover 2 guy. He says, now I'm a pressure guy, zero blitz, bomb blitz you. But Skip, when you do that, if you don't get there, I don't care how great the back end is, if you give that quarterback a chance to pat that ball and you vacated the middle of the field, they're going to hit you over the top.